There's 10 things that should happen immediately to support and help SME builders, and they need to listen to people like me and you and not listen to fancy consultants that have never built a house, never done a conversion of a property in their lives. If Keir Starmer and Matthew Pennycook are seriously, and by the way, Matthew is the Housing Secretary, very important role. If they are serious about helping SME builders and developers, they need to listen to my 10 suggestions below. The reason is, last year, SMEs built 10% of the housing stock in the UK. 20 years ago, we built 33% of the stock. That has to change, and they need to listen to people like me and you and not listen to fancy consultants that have never built a house. Number one, social housing requirements. I'd like to see it start at 50 units. At the moment, it's 9 units or 1,000 square meters. After that, you've got 30% social housing. And many developers are not building as many houses as they could do because they don't want to start going over 9 because of the social housing. I do the same, we all do. So that needs to change. Number 2, this is a real farce. If you purchase a commercial building to convert it to residential, you have to prove that there's no commercial use for that building before it is allowed to be converted into residential, and they expect it to go on the market for 12 months to prove no one wants it for commercial. Well, the fact you're buying it tells them that, surely. That is holding up developments. They get done in the end, they get converted to residential, but it takes another 12 months of interest, time and worry when there's a housing crisis. Absolutely mad, so that definitely needs to go. Number 3, permissive development. This started in 2013 with a Conservative government who allowed offices to be converted into residential without actual planning permission. You need a certificate from the local authority and they're meant to provide it within 56 days. Hallelujah! It was a major, major triumph for the government against local authority planning officers and departments. That's now been expanded to a point to include shops and other things like that. However, they still don't allow schools, pubs, care homes, hospitals, police stations to be converted under PD, and they should do, because that would save a lot of time and trouble. Once again, these are going to be converted to residential. It just saves a load of time and trouble, and the need to bring it into the permissive development along with all the others. Number 4, stamp duty. Well, we could all argue that there shouldn't be any stamp duty whatsoever across the whole country for anybody, because it stops people moving from area to area, stops people downsizing and all the rest of it. However, we're talking about developers at the moment, and for developers, there should be no stamp duty under 50 units. And the reason I say that is because when I buy a deal for £500,000, 500,000, currently the stamp duty on that is 45,000. Total madness, and it's stopping people from developing property. Number 5, I've currently got 10 residential schemes in planning, about 160, 170 units in total. For a scheme of 9 units to keeping it under social housing, to get through planning is costing me between £50,000 and £70,000 on average on a scheme of that size. Total utter madness. 8 different consultants are normally required. That needs to be cut down. Again, it's stopping people building houses. Number 6, outline planning permission. Well, outline planning permission in the old days was you send in a plan, a block plan showing you want to build 8 houses on a site, and they came back and said, in principle, that's fine, subject to detail. Now, for an outline consent, you need to spend almost as much money as you do for a detailed planning consent. That's crackers. It should be within a month. You should hear about it within a month, whether outline consent is given or granted or not. Then you can do the detail. That will save a lot of time and trouble for many, many developers. Number 7. 106 contributions. These are the contributions that you have to pay for once they've said in principle you can have planning permission. We've got a scheme of 16 units on the go at the moment, mostly conversions, by the way, and they've come back with £140,000 worth of wish list. That's a wish list. 88,000 for parks, 15,000 I think it is for a display cabinet at the local museum, 30,000 for some other community nonsense. It's crackers. And once again, this has to be got rid of on small sites because it is killing it completely. Number 8. We've all heard of environmental protection towards bats and red-crested newts, I'm sure. Well, guess what? They're more important than human beings, according to some people, and they're more important than allowing planning permission. There is a tunnel called the HS2 tunnels, which have cost this country 100 million for bat tunnels, 100 million. It's stopping developments once again, needs to be got rid of. Number 9 is maybe a surprise to you because I'm shouting out and trying to help and support planning officers. I think they should be paid a lot more money and there should be a lot more of them. And I think they currently are being paid for out of the local authority funds. I think they should be paid for out of central government funds and probably paid 50% more than they're paid now. Because what happens at the moment is that if they're any good at all, they get poached by the private sector and end up working as planning consultants rather than planning officers. And we need good planning officers in this country, and we are wasting a lot of talent in that direction. Number 10, how long does it take to get planning permission? Well, most of my schemes seem to take 9 to 12 months. You hear of people taking 24 months and longer. Not always the planning officer's fault, I have to say. Sometimes it is the developer's fault. But every time there's an amendment to the planning, every time they want a change to what you've put in, it goes out to consultation for 3 weeks. So you could have 5 or 6 different amendments they want, and they don't tell you them all at once. And you can imagine how many weeks that is added up. It's madness. They should be able to look at this within 7 days. 7 days. So Kieran, Matthew, there you have it. There's 10 things that should happen immediately to support and help SME builders. If you want to know more, get in touch. I'm always available.